Christopher Crow Wilson, who is my co-writer, and I looked at the idea of doing this screenwriting project. Well, the start of the project was about 7 or 8 years ago, and at that time my mother had a journal that she was writing, and my grandmother had a journal she had written. So that when I was at this point now, I have my mother's journal and my grandmother's journal. I began the process of telling this story as a screenplay.
You sit down to write, and he was saying, and then immediately my back aches, or there's something I need to go get out of the mail, or you could think of 6 million other things.
In my efforts to educate myself in screenwriting, I went to the Santa Fe Screenwriters Conference. The Santa Fe Screenwriters Conference, I was lucky enough to have Gerald DePego, who wrote Phenomenon and the more recent Forgotten with Julianne Moore, as my instructor. Terrific guy, great sense of humor, all of his technical equipment worked great, and he was just a wonderful teacher too, and he was very encouraging. But there also you can give pitch sessions, and they're like $30 or around that to pitch. And so I go in, I'm very inexperienced, never done this before. I did not know what I was doing. I didn't even have the script in its final format. I'd seen Big Fish, so I was toying with the idea of it being more magical. And I'm in there and I'm pitching this thing away, and the 5 minutes are done, and man, it's like, you're out, you're done, the door opens and they're like, you're finished. And she looked at me and she said, I don't really get what your story's about. so okay, I go back to my laptop, rewrite, get my pitch really organized, and the next day when I pitch to Lucky Crow Films, or Lucky Crow Productions. And at that time when I'm pitching, she's interested. I've got my act together now, but she says, so you've got the script? And I go, yeah, I've got the script. And I don't realize she's expecting me to reach over in a bag. She's kind of looking to the side, and she's expecting me to pick out the script and hand it to her, and I don't have it with me. So I go later, I'm going to the other producer sessions, and I'm talking to other people, and I realize that they brought their finished scripts and that they're actually handing them over to these people. So I just have to laugh. So that was like 3 years ago. I understand now how these pitch sessions work. It's really fun to see storylines, and you can tell this is the love interest who's going to go away. This is the love interest that we all are rooting for, and I like that. I'm really okay. I always think of Jon Favreau, so I'm here on a panel, and he said, if I don't know who the good guys are and the bad guys are, you've lost me. I always remember that. So now we've got, we're coming to Sundance, I'm going to panels. I need to start hearing this dialogue. And I make the first audio recording of the script with friends, actually, and it reveals much clunky dialogue. So we go back to the salt mines, rewrite. Okay, so then I actually need to start contacting family members, because I have to let them know we're doing a story about your life and I need depiction releases. So in fact, to stay on track, here's this pile of depiction releases, and this looks pretty easy. Oh, here it is, a pile of paper. This took over a half a year, many phone calls, and some people, well, no, all of them said, we need to hear it. We need to hear it first. Now I'm like, man, I'm not mailing out 22 copies of this paper script that no one's going to sit down and read. So I make an audio recording using Nancy Hills, who you'll get to meet later, and another professional in the radio industry. There was a character that I loved dearly. She was a fictional character in this true story, and I loved her because I could do anything with her. Her name was Rosemary. And my co-writer and the script doctor said, you need to take her out because why would a huge family, this huge family, why would they adopt in another child? So I reluctantly wrote Rosemary out. Well, then a year later, when I was interviewing for the relatives and people who are in this story, a woman mentioned the orphan Rose. And I said, there was an orphan Rose? And she said, yes, and this was a person who actually was the right age. She was in a close enough proximity to the main characters that I could write her back in, and it fixed the whole second act.
You're kidding?
No, it was sort of like this fictional character turned out to really exist. So that was a real gift. Okay, so now the depiction releases are rolling in. Thank you very much, my dear Deitz family. And here's some members of that family who were so kind to go ahead. And one of the main characters right here.
My name's Nancy Hills, and I'm a good friend of Mary Beth and Susie. And I am a costume designer, and I actually teach costume design at Utah State University.
Very renowned costume designer.
Very renowned costume
I've
designer.
heard from that. From Susie, Kennedy Center and everything.
No, I had a really, I got a lovely national award last year where I went and studied at the Kennedy Center.
Tell me what you did at the Kennedy Center.
Well, I studied with Ming Cho Lee and Constance Hoffman, along with some set designers and directors. It was a wonderful educational experience for me. And so I did a sketch for Susie last night of this character, Dorothy, that is one of her mother's friends in Hollywood.
Dorothy is beautiful beyond measure, and she is going to, as a stewardess, she's going to look to make her life as nice as she can. She's a bit of a smart gold digger.
That's her costume?
That would be a dress at a party.
Yeah, so this is a party that Susie described to me, kind of a Hollywood, wannabes in attendance, and so I got a little inspiration from, Rita Hayworth, and a little inspiration from kind of other starlets, and
Very interesting.
and gave her a little more cleavage than probably was appropriate, and So these were some ideas that I was kind of feeding Susie as far as things that she might like to think about in three-dimensionalizing this character.
Well, if we're going to be talking about the process of writing a script at some point, we should give a little bit of the script itself. This is a period piece story. It goes from just before the Great Depression, the stock market crash in 1928, through just after World War II. And it follows a remarkable young woman's story, and it has her high-spirited stewardess days in Hollywood, and this is an excerpt from that part. She's writing a letter home. Interior stewardess apartment, Marcella's bedroom, morning. Marcella on her bed, in her pajamas, writes a letter to Junior. The Hudson Bay Trading Company blanket is on her bed. The contents of the letter is spoken by the young Marcella of 1945. Dear Junior, I think I've met the man of my dreams. His name is Franklin Crowe, but everyone calls him Sandy. He's a naval officer, and he played football for the University of Texas. Interior supper club night. Marcella, Sandy, Betty, and Gordon dine. The letter continues. You wouldn't believe the story he gave me on our first date. What a whopper. He said he was a widower who had lost his wife and child in a train wreck. Exterior, Gordon Hall's apartment balcony night. Marcella takes a photo of Sandy in uniform overlooking the Hollywood city lights. The letter continues. He had to do some fancy backpedaling to clear that up, or I never would have believed anything he said again.
Max said to me last night when I saw him, he said, well, you kind of knew where that was going in the first 5 minutes, but it was a great ride. It was a great ride. So.